With that said, I would now like to introduce our chaplain, Chaplain Mace, to give us the invocation. Sir?
Let us pray. Empowering God of grace and mercy, we invite your presence into this place today. Family, faculty, administrators, community, and friends have come together to celebrate the accomplishments of this graduating class. So we ask for your blessing to fall upon those with ears to hear and minds to understand. Bless our speakers' words and give continuous encouragement to New Mexico Military Institute, its leaders, and the Corps of Cadets as they press on in their mission of education, reminding us that happy is a person who finds wisdom and who gains understanding. So with this in mind, make us living stones of a strong foundation through the application of your grace, mercy, hope, and love. As it is, and so shall it ever be, we ask in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Please be seated. On behalf of the men and women of NMI, welcome. Welcome to this great celebration and this great day, a day of commencement and commissioning. And speaking of great, let me introduce first the dignitaries that have joined me on the stage, as well as a few great folks in the audience. Joining me on the stage, Major General Jerry Grizzle, our Superintendent and President, Lieutenant Governor Howie Morris, who we are pleased and honored to have as our graduation and commissioning speaker today, the President of the Board of Regents, Timothy Paul, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Graff, Commandant of Cadets, Colonel George Brick, our Vice Dean and Academic High School Principal, Danny Armillo, the Director of Alumni Relations and Institutional Advancements. You've just heard from Major Chance Mace, our chaplain, and you'll be hearing from Lieutenant Colonel Kayla Smith, Associate Dean and Director of the Tolles Learning Center, who will be reading the graduates' names. We're also welcome in the audience today our distinguished Board of Regents members, Regent Barbara Trent, Regent Brad Christmas, Regent Cedric Page, and Regent John Garcia. Well, today we graduate the first contingent, what I like to call the advanced party, the trailblazers, the precursors of the NMI class of 2020. There are 20 junior college graduates, 3 high school graduates, and we will also commission 2 new second lieutenants. Each year at this time, the words that come to mind on this event are those from Psalm 118, which are, as you all probably know so well, "This is the day the Lord has made, so let us rejoice." It is that day. This is the day, above all, that you, the graduates, have made with your work, your commitment to excellence, your manifestation of duty, honor, and achievement, the 3 elements that define the leader. It's that duty to uphold your honor in achieving service to others. That is what you continue and will be doing as you leave the hallowed halls of the New Mexico Military Institute. But this is also the day that you, the faculty and staff, have made, as you know, through your mentoring, teaching, and support. You make it all happen, and we would like to recognize that. So would the faculty please stand and be recognized? And that includes as well the coaches as well as the TLAs, because we are a military institution developing the whole person. But this is also the day that the parents and grandparents have made for your nurturing, your love, and above all, your inspiration. We at MMI have been privileged to share with you in that effort over the past few years. These 3 groups that I refer to as the students, the parents, faculty, and staff are what I call the learning triad. I would like the parents and grandparents and friends now to stand and be recognized by us and the graduates for all that you have done for them. Please stand and be recognized. Thank you very much. You know, you should know that what we say here today will probably be forgotten, and maybe even what we do here today. However, what each of you graduates have done here at NMMI will be part of your lives forever, and you will leave a legacy at NMMI as well. It's not the end of your learning, and particularly for the junior college students that are graduating, it's not even the beginning of that end. It is rather significantly the foundation for a lifetime of learning and discovery, in which you will use what you have learned, experienced, and done here to become a leader among your generation, whether in the corporate world, education, military, government, and most significantly, where leadership is needed today, the family. If you doubt that, ask the alumni, because they've been there. They lived the legacy. They determine the destiny of the school as each of you do. And so I'm going to ask any of the alumni that are here today to be stand and recognized, because you are about to become members of that outstanding group, the alumni. Any alumni, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. And now I have the honor and privilege to introduce the President and Superintendent of New Mexico Military Institute, Major General Jerry Grizzle. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Major General Grizzle to the podium. Sir, it's all yours.
I'm looking at the book that we're all supposed to follow, and it says Superintendent's Remarks Not Scripted. That's a little scary, because I guess that means I can say whatever I'd like to say while I'm standing here. I'd like to continue with kind of the theme that General Murray has started, and that's recognition of what it takes to make all things that we do at New Mexico Military Institute possible. It just simply wouldn't be possible without the great faculty and staff that we have here to make all things possible. We were recently on a call with all of our alumni. Danny and I do that once a month. And one of our alums made the point that 10 years ago, as we started for our accreditation, how impressed he was an employee at the time, that everyone was involved. Everyone knew the importance of accreditation, and everyone, regardless of their position, was involved. It does take every single person to be involved at this institute to make it be successful, from the groundskeeper to the people in the post office, to the facilities folks who make sure the buildings are in place, to our faculty who teach. It takes everyone to make that happen. And it certainly takes everyone in this audience, from parents and family to the support of our regents who support us while we conduct our business. It just takes everyone. In my recent message about the holiday season, I especially want to thank our persons that serve in uniform. Chaplain Mace just returned after a year-long deployment. We have one of our faculty members deployed right now. And I just found out we have another employee that's going to be leaving for a year-long deployment. If we didn't support them, we wouldn't be able to be here today. We also have many members of our faculty, of our family, who either their spouse or family members are first responders. I ask you to think about them, because during this holiday season, someone has to be on guard and on watch while we enjoy the holiday season. So I ask that all of us take time to think of all those folks who make time for us to have events like this. It's just a great season, and I ask that we all take time to recognize those. So thank you for being here at a special time at NMMI. We have 2 graduations a year. As General Murray indicated, this is the first. It may be smaller, but it's just as equally important that we recognize what these young people have done in their lives as they get ready to take that next step. Some will stay with us, some will move on. That's part of our responsibility here, and the Dean talks about it frequently. It's our responsibility to make them prepared for what's next in their life. We're not sure what that is. We just want to make sure they're prepared for whatever it is when they make that choice. And today is that first step in the next decision point in their life. And you see in the program, some have made that decision point, and it says where they're going on from here. And we're very honored that some will be staying with us for their junior college education. Some will be going on to other schools, but we were glad that we were part of that process while they were here. So again, thank you for being here. It's my honor now to introduce our guest speaker, someone that I've had the opportunity to work with over the past few years in the legislature, and in his new position, we asked if he would consider being our guest speaker, and without hesitation, he accepted. Soon after taking office in January of 2019, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham asked Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales to take charge of the State Department of Public Education. He did that until a permanent secretary later could be named, Dr. Karen Trujillo. During that period, Howie Morales joined the governor in calling for an historic $500 million budget investment in public school classrooms, part of the governor's education moonshot. In the past, PED saw itself as a policeman of schools. Lieutenant Governor Morales pushed for a lasting culture shift at PED to ensure that from now on, the agency, which oversees more than 850 public schools, will serve those schools and teachers in a spirit of collaboration and cooperation, lifting up schools that struggle, not shutting them down. The governor issued her first 2 executive orders during that time, eliminating future use of PARCC standardized testing in New Mexico classrooms. Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales, raised in Silver City, New Mexico, has spent his whole life working to improve the lives of people in his community and across the state. He served in the New Mexico legislature on the Legislative Finance Committee for 11 years, a classroom teacher and proven leader who stands up for seniors and public education. He said no more cuts to New Mexico classrooms. Howie Morales has fought to protect our most vulnerable communities and local schools, to build a fair economy that works for all of us, and to move New Mexico forward. Howie learned the value of $1 at a young age. His father was a Vietnam veteran who worked in the copper mine, while his mother worked multiple hourly wage jobs. He went to work as a teenager to help provide for the family, and later worked as a shoe salesman and maintenance worker to put himself through Western New Mexico University, the first in his family to go to college. Howie went on to earn a PhD in education from New Mexico State University. Howie went home to teach students in special education in Silver City and Cobre school districts, and became active in the community. He coached local high school baseball teams to state championships, and in the longest serving volunteer of Big Brothers Big Sisters in New Mexico, while raising 2 children ages 6 and 9. Howie earned the trust of his neighbors and was elected Grant County Clerk, where he modernized voting systems to make sure every vote counted. Since 2008, Howie has been an aggressive leader for children in classrooms in the state Senate, fighting for his district and to make every corner of New Mexico a better place to live. He has pushed for progressive policies such as universal health care. He fought for rural and tribal economic development, and he fought to protect veterans and senior services across the state and mental health programs. It's my honor to introduce to you Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales.
Well, good morning. It's so wonderful to be here with all of you. Graduates, congratulations. I'm so excited when you look at the opportunities that are here in our state, here in New Mexico. But I first want to begin by acknowledging some individuals who may be in the audience with us, and I believe that Superintendent Grizzle did a great job of outlining service and the importance of that. Today's especially meaningful to me as I come into the military school and know the impact that it has and what our members of our armed services have done for us. Why it's so especially important to me is my father, who, as you heard, was a Vietnam veteran, and I saw the impact and the struggles that have taken place with veterans all across our country. My father passed away about 2 months ago, and so while tremendously difficult, it's also very uplifting and motivating to see the impact of people who have served. So if you are a past former member of any of our armed services, please stand and be recognized. Thank you for your service. And often when I speak, I use a story that really impacts what we're celebrating here today. And that story goes something like this. You had a high school teenager who came into a gas station. And when he walked into that gas station, he saw an older, frail gentleman who was mopping up the floor. And the teenager asked him, "What would you say if I told you I keep seeing your boots in my dream?" The older, wiser gentleman said, "I would say it's time you wake up. You can go through a whole lifetime living through a dream." The teenager came back and said, "Hey, Socrates, if you're so wise, why are you working in a gas station?" The gentleman said, "I work in a service station. There is no higher purpose." Teenager comes back and says, "Then pumping gas?" And the gentleman says, "Service to others." That is exactly what we are celebrating here, service to others and the impact that's been done and the impact that you students have continually showed and demonstrated. So it truly is a celebration. And I'm reminded of an account one day when Winston Churchill was set to speak at Oxford University. And he spent hours and hours preparing for that commencement speech. But when he went on stage, he looked at the crowd and was overcome with a different type of energy. He looked down at his speech, and instead of delivering that speech where he prepared hours and hours for, his speech went just like this: "Never give up, never give up, never give up, never give up." And he walked off the stage to huge applause. Well, you guys aren't that lucky because I have a little bit more to say, but I think it really sets the tone of what it is that we do and why we do it. You see, education is always going to be at the heart of what I do because it's made a difference in my life, and it's making a difference in each of our lives who are here today. See, my father didn't graduate from high school. He dropped out in 10th grade, and I saw the struggles financially, emotionally, many areas that took place, but it didn't mean that he didn't value education. Coming from a large family, 15 brothers and 4 sisters is what my father had. So you can see how easy it was for me to get reelected as a state senator from the district that I served. But the first one that was able to go to college. And why that is so meaningful is because that didn't happen simply on my own. Just as your process and your journey in education didn't happen all by yourself. There's many times some myths out there that think that the Lone Ranger did everything on his own. When in reality, we all need somebody, and we have somebody who's right there with us. Just as each one of you can look and can reflect right now of those individuals who helped pull you through. And I think that it's important that we recognize some of the things that we learn, and we should be so excited about the possibilities that come, but never to forget the lessons that you've learned, and especially never forgetting where you come from. And I think that's especially critical now. When you look and see what you've learned here at the New Mexico Military Institute, which is by far an institution of superiority when you look and see what's offered around the country, and what we offer here in our very own state. Myself and the governor are so proud every time we travel across the country and we mention and talk about what the New Mexico Military Institute not only means to our students here in New Mexico, but what it means to people all across the world. You're a part of that special group, and soon you'll become alum of that special group. It's your responsibility to carry that tradition forward and all that you've learned. Because what you've learned here at New Mexico Military Institute is the approach not only educating a person, but the whole person, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, socially. These are some of the things that you learned throughout your training, throughout your journey. And now you take that forward. And some of the lessons that I would hope that you remember, as was stated in our prayer so eloquently as we opened up today, some of those messages that you learn is important to recognize. The importance of wanting excellence. The great football coach Vince Lombardi for the Green Bay Packers was once quoted as saying that winning wasn't everything. Winning was the only thing. And it's been used so often for that little edge in competition, for that opportunity to have that victory. But later on in life, people may not realize when he was asked about that quote. And Coach Lombardi said, I wish I would have never said the thing, because I never meant the way that it's been used. I never meant for it to crush the human spirit, or that the scoreboard was all that mattered. What I meant by that quote was that teamwork, collaboration, doing the best you can while recognizing and respecting those around you. That is what winning's all about. And when you talk about winning and the opportunities that we have within our state, we see that there still are many challenges that we're faced with in New Mexico. And we're addressing those challenges every single day. We can only address these challenges with great people across our state who are willing to work together to do that. And so wherever your journey takes you, I would always advocate to remember New Mexico, remember your memories here, and choose to stay or come back into our state to help us be the best that we can possibly be. I also like to share with you some of the things that you may have learned. And that's especially important when we talk about greatness. The importance of making sure to remember to be humble. I'm reminded of a story of a college student who was driving around and around the parking lot. He had to get in to take his final exam, and he couldn't find a parking spot. And as he drove around and around, he finally broke down and prayed and said, Dear God, I need to get in there to take my final exam. Please help me. If you can just help me find a parking space, I'll stop doing all the bad things that I've been doing. I'll stop skipping class. I'll stop missing church. I'll stop drinking. I won't cuss. Just please help me find a parking space. And then just at that moment, the skies opened up, the sun shined down, and a parking space opened up. And he rushed right in and he said, God, never mind about all that stuff. I found a parking spot on my own. And a lot of times we see that happen, where we think that we've done things on our own and forget about the journey that we've taken. We've not done anything on our own without the support, love, and compassion of those around us. And to remember that being humble doesn't mean that you think any less of yourself. It just means that you think less of yourself and more of others. And when you look and see the possibilities that we have, I ask you to remember probably the most important and most powerful thing that we can always keep in our life is to recognize that to show love, kindness, and compassion is the most powerful thing that we can do on this earth. And it's our responsibility to do so, especially in a time when there's a lot of uncertainty, that we recognize the educational opportunities and the journey and what you've learned is all connected to being a wonderful, well-rounded human being. Many times people think that you don't want to talk about love because you'll get run over. You don't want to talk about it in the business setting because you won't survive. You don't want to talk about it on the athletic arena, which I spent many years coaching, because you can't have that success. Or you especially don't want to talk about it in the political realm because of the environment that you're in. I can tell you from experience that the reason I stand here today is the ability to show love, kindness, and compassion, and the willingness to accept that from those who are around you, to recognize we are all in this together. So I'm extremely proud of every single one of you for taking on the challenge, a challenge, quite frankly, that many could not do. But today you celebrate because you were willing to do the things that others could not do. So today you can celebrate what others may not be able to. So I thank you so much for allowing me to be just a small part of this wonderful celebration. And I'm grateful for the journey that you're about to take. I want to wish every single one of you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Morales. We have a gift that apparently did not make it for you today, so we will get that to you. Colonel Brick?
Well, I also would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, and I want to say just a few words about our graduates and about our school, especially about our high school graduates, but they do apply in some way to our college graduates as well. We're very privileged here at New Mexico Military Institute because of the type of school we are, and because of you, the type of students who come here. We have students from all over the world. You don't come here at the same time. You don't come here bringing the same transcripts. You don't always come as ninth graders. You have different goals and different dreams for where you want to be. And these December graduates have done something extra in order to be here and graduate in December. Some of you had to leave and come back. There were courses that you just specifically wanted to take. And we have a very specific, rigorously challenging curriculum for our high school students, and I'm very, very proud of each and every one of you. I feel like I should mention that I live right across the street, Lieutenant Governor, and I don't need a parking place, but I won't soon forget what to do if I need one. It is our pleasure now to present the New Mexico Military Diploma to the high school graduates. Lieutenant Colonel Kayla Smith will read the names. Joining me in the presentations are Lieutenant Governor Morales, President of the Board of Regents, Colonel Timothy Paul, President and Superintendent Major General Jerry Grizzle, the Dean of Academics, Brigadier General Douglas Murray, the Commandant of Cadets, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Graff, and the Director of Alumni Relations, Danny Armillo, is presenting a coin and gift bag on behalf of the Alumni Association as the graduates exit the stage. Captain Gomez, please bring forward the high school graduates. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Brick. We're all really proud of you guys. You get a very small group this spring, so they all are a little more special. The class of 2020. Robert Joseph Bowles, Roswell, New Mexico. Charles Lorenzo Lewis, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Huy Vo Trong Bao, Republic of Vietnam. Thank you, presenters. I'd like to turn the podium over to the Dean of Academics, Brigadier General Douglas Murray.
We are now turning to that portion of the program, having recognized our high school graduates, to look at our junior college graduates as well. Students who show particular distinction in scholarship at NMMI are offered the opportunity of graduating with highest honors, with high honors, and with honors. The names of those individuals are identified in your program in the Graduation Honor of Merit and will receive their diploma in that same order, as we just saw with the high school graduates. Now, graduating with high honors, a cadet must graduate with at least a 3.75 GPA. Will all the graduates with the highest honors please rise and be recognized? To graduate with high honors, a cadet must graduate with at least a 3.5 GPA. Will the graduates with high honors please rise and be recognized? And to graduate with honors, a cadet must graduate with at least a 3.25 GPA. And will the graduates with honors please rise and be recognized? I would now like to present the 14 members of the junior college class of 2020. On occasions like this, I'm always reminded of some advice made by Bob Hope. I'm sure there's some of you out there remember who Bob Hope was, but he spoke at graduation of my alma mater, Georgetown University. His son Tony was in the class. His advice to the graduates when preparing to graduate was very simple, and he summarized it in one word, and he emphasized that word. In terms of my advice to graduate, he said, don't. Of course, he was kidding, but I can tell you that the graduates here are ready. They have met all the requirements, academic, military, and physical, for the Association of Arts degree and the Associations in Science degree. And as you heard from Colonel Brick, they have had in high school received their diploma. In the national assessment test, they have scored above the state and the nation, and so they are ready to graduate. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2020 of the junior college, please all stand and be recognized one more time. Thank you, thank you. Lieutenant Colonel Kayla Smith will now read the names of the graduates, and again, joining me in the presentation of those degrees will be our guest speaker, Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales, President of the Board of Regents, Colonel Timothy Paul, President Superintendent, Major General Jerry Grizzle, the Vice Dean of Academics, Colonel Brick, the Commandant of Cadets, Jonathan Graff, and Lieutenant Danny Armio. And Danny will also present a coin and a gift bag on behalf of the Alumni Association as the graduates exit the stage. Colonel Dykstra, please bring forward the junior college graduates.
Graduating with highest honors, Cheney Reed Hart, Artesia, New Mexico. Marita Destiny Liaina, Pago Pago, American Samoa. Terrell Nishimori, Hanapepe, Hawaii. Juliet Caroline Quintero, DeRidder, Louisiana. Christopher Bolas, Onikan, Lagos, Nigeria. David Anthony Morales, Dexter, New Mexico. Emmanuel Nicodemo Malya, Arusha, Tanzania. James Wade Blowers, Las Cruces, New Mexico. The class of 2020, Elijah Rain Farmer, Fredericksburg, Texas. Nathaniel Donovan Lecion, Clinton, Texas. Christopher Mumba, Lusaka, Zambia. Jacob Ephraim Neiswinder, Austin, Texas. Giorgima Salramoni Abu, Laotoka, Fiji. Vinda Sylvia None Teali, Laotoka, Fiji. We are also recognizing class of 2019 graduate Jacob Michael Galvan. Thank you, presenters. You may be seated. Please join me in congratulating all of our December graduates. Please welcome to the podium the narrator for the commissioning and bar pinning ceremony, Captain Michelle Martin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Johnson, the Professor of Military Science, welcome to New Mexico Military Institute and our ceremony honoring New Mexico Military Institute's Senior Reserve Officer Training Corps Fall 2019 commissionees. We want to extend a special welcome to family, friends, and community leaders who've come to join us on this very special day. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to please refer to your programs as we recognize the commissionees by name. Jacob Galvan will continue his education at University of North Texas and is assigned to the Texas National Guard. Terrell Nishimori, distinguished military student, will continue his education at Norwich University and be assigned to the United States Army Reserve. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the oath of office given by Lieutenant Colonel Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of presenting our Army's newest second lieutenants. Please be seated. Our new officers will now be pinned with their second lieutenant bars by family and friends, and will also receive their first salute from an enlisted member of the military. Would those who are participating in the bar pinning ceremony please come to the stage? One of the most memorable experiences of newly commissioned officers is having their gold bars pinned on by family and friends, followed by the first salute from an enlisted service member. Tradition dictates that upon receipt of their first salute, the new lieutenant presents the enlisted soldier that saluted them with a silver dollar. Although the exact origins of this tradition have faded into history, it is believed to have come to us from the British Army. By tradition, the silver dollar is the only coin given in exchange for the first salute. While the coin may be just $1 in denomination, it represents a value far greater. The coin represents the deep felt gratitude for the mentorship and lessons imparted by the non-commissioned officer on their lieutenant before he sends them out into the world embarking in the brotherhood and profession of arms. The silver, and a true silver dollar, represents the pure devotion to a standard. The coin stores a value in the memory it makes, its intrinsic value as a precious metal, and its part in American history. The salute also represents formal recognition by the soldier of the transition from cadet to officer, and the silver dollar signifies the officer's acceptance of their new responsibility. Second Lieutenant Galvan's bars will be affixed and pinned by Sergeant First Class Jose Corral. He will also receive his first salute from Sergeant First Class Jose Corral. Second Lieutenant Nishimori's bars will be affixed and pinned by his parents, Tom and Tasha Yamamoto. He will receive his first salute from his grandfather, former United States Army Specialist Thomas Yamamoto. Lieutenant Colonel Johnson and Master Sergeant Harris will now present the commissionees with their documents and a copy of the United States Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for our new second lieutenants. At this time, we ask everyone to return to their seats. I will be followed by Major General Grizzle.
For those that have ever served in the military, we are doing what we call an alibi. That's when you forget something or need to interject something into the process. Usually, after the guest speaker speaks, I come up to the podium and present them with a gift from NMMI. As the Lieutenant Governor was about to finish his remarks, I realized that normally the staff brings me out before the process ever starts and strategically places that gift under the podium and shows me where it is so that I can reach under there and hand it to the guest speaker. And I realized they didn't do that. But I thought maybe they had done their job, put it there, and just forgot to walk me through that little step of showing me where it was. So as you saw me get up and walk by, I looked where it usually is. It wasn't there. So I went back and asked them if they had just simply forgot to put it under there. And it was worse than that. They had forgot to bring it. Wasn't that we didn't have it, they forgot to bring it here to the auditorium. So they have now retrieved it, and it will allow me to present this. And as I was thinking of that, Lieutenant Governor, it was reminded me of just a little quick story. My wife and I were at a concert one night of Leon Russell. Leon Russell was getting older, and he was up on an elevated stage, and he had got there with 2 canes, and he was sitting behind a white baby grand piano. And as he finished that last song, he sat there for just a minute, and he said, okay, this is the point in my performance where I would usually leave. You all would clap and cheer and yell, and then after a long pause, I would come back out and do an encore. But he said, I'm too old and I'm too tired and I'm not going to do that, so I'm just going to sit here. You guys go ahead and clap and yell, and then I'll come back and play some more songs. So that we're going to act like that. So we're going to act like that nothing happened. I'm going to go over here and get this. Lieutenant Governor, thank you so much for your remarks. For those in the audience, what is our usual gift that we're very proud of? There's nothing more prominent feature at New Mexico Military Institute than the Sally Port, the entrance to Hagerman Barracks. And we're very proud of that. We give that with our coins. And so, Lieutenant Governor, we'd be honored if you take this and hopefully show it in your office. Thank you so much again.
Well, good morning. Lieutenant Governor Morales, members of the Board of Regents, General Grizzle and General Murray, families, guests, thank you so much for joining us today. Your presence honors us, and especially our graduates. To our graduates, a special thank you. Your actions reflect well on NMMI and the many good habits you've developed during your time here. You've done some amazing things to reach the point where you are now. But I would also like you to recognize the thousands of little things you've done every day to develop yourself, to build your character, and to help you succeed. Just like developing physical strength, growing stronger in academic achievement, mental acuity, leadership attributes, and character come with the exercise of the many decisions that you make every day. And we see it in your actions, not just actions like your achievement today, but in the things you do when you're really put to the test, when you're under stress. It's a little bit like filling your cup at Bates in the dining hall. Your daily habits fill your cup of character all the way to the top. Inevitably, there's going to be a time when you bump into someone or something. It might be a little bump, it might be a big one, but when that happens, whatever is in your cup is going to spill out. the actions that spill out when your character is tested, when you're under stress, and those times will come. That is a manifestation of the character within you, the habits you're practicing every single day. So think about it. What is going to spill out when you're tested? Continue to cultivate the habits that you've developed here. Exercise them regularly. Continue to grow stronger in them, and when your cup spills over, when your moment of trial comes, wonderful and amazing things will come forth. To our commissionees, you've taken a powerful oath to defend our Constitution. What a tremendous honor. It's been my privilege to have known you and to have worked with you and to have learned from you. You've done a great job, and I'm proud to welcome you as brothers in arms. God bless you in all that you do. I wish you all the best in your years ahead, and safe travels to wherever life's journeys take you. And when you return to the old post, return with honor. At this time, I'd like to ask everyone to stand as our music director, Major Matt Brady, comes to lead us in our alma mater. Graduates, you're dismissed.